today to talk about the Commando lock, and this one particularly is the Marine series. I believe the others are the same as well. Commando lock has an eye change lock that they market. You can change out the shackle for a cable. Their Marine version here does not, it claims that you cannot remove the shackle. Reason being is because it has these key limiting cutouts near the plug. But if you're into lock sport, you can pick past the 5 pairs of 10 security pins counterclockwise and remove the shackle. To set it up for removing the shackle, we're going to need to open the lock, flip the shackle 180 degrees, relock the lock, remove the key, test the shackle. It has a little bit of jiggle, a little bit up and down, but you can't spin it back around 180 degrees. This should be ready for picking, so let's get this lock in the vise. Nailed it. Here I'll be using a windshield wiper insert from a small windshield wiper blade and a monkey paw pick. I'm not exactly picking on top of the keyway here. It's kind of like the middle of the keyway. I've never heard of that. You can pick top of the keyway. You just have to keep an eye on making sure it doesn't hit it against that anti-counterclockwise protrusion on the outside of the lock. This lock has security pins, as previously stated, but it feels like the feedback is really small, so it's really like micro counter rotation from my experience with this one lock, which adds to the difficulty, I feel, a little bit. The keyway is quite open, but the top of the keyway has a curve to it, so it's going one direction. I've had top of keyway wrenches slip out quite a bit. So that's why I'm dealing with this windshield wiper insert, though I have picked it with a standard top of the keyway tension wrench before, so it's doable. Interesting fact about this laminated lock, and I believe all Commando locks, the laminated sheets of steel, or in this case brass, are pressed together so that if you were to grind off these rivets, the lock would not fall apart. It's kind of cool. Since we're here, I'd like to plug Picking Time by Lady Locks and Lockheed. They have a communal picking every Sunday, I believe, live on YouTube. And also, if you haven't checked out the Lock Sportscast podcast, they mention people who've gotten new belt rankings. I think he starts at purple, and anything above that, so it's always cool to hear your own name on there. Check him out if you haven't. On this lock, sometimes if I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere, I'll release tension a little bit, and if I've overset a pin, you tend to hear that click, and that click is the overset pin being pushed below the shear line. So sometimes it might meet right at the shear line and you're good to go now, or sometimes you might have to re-pick that one, but it should remedy the overset. This 5-pin lock should not be giving me this much trouble, but this particular commando lock always does. Feels like I'm getting somewhere with it though. Let's see. And here's how we put the thing back together. It won't fit in that side, so you can't get it wrong. It goes in this side backwards. You're gonna have to pull that shackle up a little bit. The ball bearing to fit into the cutout. And if it doesn't, you just can't turn it. See, there we go, we got it right. Turn it back. Should be locked in the 180 configuration. So now we can do the rest with the key. Open it up, switch it 180 degrees, pop it in, there we go.